The figure in the clearing never moved. Not when I called out. Not when I took a step forward. Only when I blinked did it vanish, leaving behind a faint smell of smoke, like something long extinguished. I stood there for a while, waiting for the sound of footsteps, a voice, anything. But there was only silence and the whisper of wind through the burnt grass. When I finally drove back into town, night had already fallen. The streets were empty, the fog thicker than before. It crawled across the windshield like something alive. I couldn't stop thinking about the number on the key. 17. It felt important, though I had no idea why. A room? A year? A date? It was the only thing I'd brought back from the ruins that felt real. Everything else felt like a dream. When I reached home, I found an envelope slipped under my door. No return address, no stamp. Just my name, written in unfamiliar handwriting, thin. Careful strokes, like someone trying not to be recognized. Inside was a single piece of paper. On it, typed neatly, "You're not supposed to be looking for her." No signature. I read it again and again, but the words refused to make sense. It wasn't the warning that scared me, it was the her. Did they mean Anna? Or Rosa? And why did it sound like there was a difference between the two? I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind through the cracks in the window, felt deliberate, like the house itself was breathing beside me. By dawn, I gave up pretending to rest and drove to the library. If the key meant something, maybe the town's old records could tell me what. The librarian, an older woman with silver hair and kind eyes, looked surprised when I mentioned the address of the burned cottage. "That place?" she said quietly. "It's been empty longer than you think." I told her about the fire, about the article from 3 years ago. She frowned, walking to the back shelves. When she returned, she carried a stack of old property records bound with twine. Last registered owner was a Margaret Hall, not a Monroe, she said. Before her, a Reverend Fielding. No Monroes listed here at all. I showed her the clipping. She squinted at the name. "Strange," she murmured. "This article doesn't match any of our archives." "What do you mean?" She turned the paper toward the light. "The print. It's not from the Harbor Chronicle. The font's wrong. Someone faked this." The air seemed to tilt slightly. "Faked it?" She nodded. "Whoever gave you this wanted you to think the house was real. Or still there. Or recently destroyed." I left the library feeling like the ground beneath me was gone. The house, the fire, the article. What if none of it happened the way I thought? By the time I reached my car, there was another envelope tucked under the wiper blade. No handwriting this time. Just a small brass tag, tied with red string. The same number engraved into it as the key. 17. That evening, I went back to the pier. The fog was thicker than ever. A solid wall of grey swallowing everything past a few feet. The sea was calm, too calm, its surface unmoving. Rosa stood where she always did, her back to me. She didn't turn when I approached. "You shouldn't have gone there," she said softly. I froze. "You knew I would. That's what I was afraid of." Her voice was trembling, not from fear, but from something heavier. Regret. "Who sent the letter?" I asked. "Who's watching me?" Rosa turned then. Her eyes caught the weak light from the pier lamps, and for the first time, I saw something like exhaustion there. "You're asking the wrong questions," she said. "You think the fire ended that night." "It didn't." "What do you mean?" Her gaze drifted to the horizon. "Some things burn without smoke. Some fires don't need flame to keep destroying what's left." She stepped closer, her hand brushing mine, cold, almost weightless. "He never wanted her to leave," she whispered. "So he built a world where she couldn't." "Who?" I asked again, my voice catching. "Who is he?" But Rosa only looked past me, toward the street beyond the fog. He's listening, she said. He always is. I followed her gaze, and for just a moment, I thought I saw movement, the silhouette of someone standing where the lamplight ended. When I turned back, Rosa was gone. All that remained was the faint scent of lily, and something else. Smoke. The next morning, the key began to hum. It sounds impossible, but I swear I heard it. A faint vibration in the drawer where I'd left it. When I touched it, it was warm, as though it had just been in someone's hand. I turned it over, tracing the number again. 17. Something in me, curiosity, obsession, or both, told me to look for a match. I drove to the old Harbour Motel, the only place in town old enough to still use brass tags like that. The man at the counter barely looked up when I asked for room 17. Closed for maintenance, he said. I showed him the key. His eyes changed. Not shock, but recognition. Where'd you get that? I found it, I said. Why? He hesitated. That room's been locked for years. Since the fire. I stared at him. What fire? But he didn't answer. He only nodded toward the hallway, his face pale. If you go in there, he said quietly, don't stay long. The door to room 17 was at the end of a narrow corridor, paint peeling from the walls. The number on the plaque was faded, but the key fit perfectly. When I turned it, the lock gave a tired sigh, like it remembered me. Inside, everything was coated in dust. The curtains were half burned. The bed blackened at one corner. The air smelled faintly of salt and smoke. On the wall opposite the window hung a framed photograph. It was of a woman. Anna. No. Rosa. No. Both. The light caught the photo at an angle that made her features shift, almost like two faces layered over one another. Beneath the frame, etched into the wall, was a line written in what looked like charcoal. The fire never ended. It just moved. I stepped back, my heart pounding. The reflection in the window behind me was darker than it should have been, a shadow where none belonged. And then, in the faint glass, I saw movement. Someone standing just over my shoulder. I turned. No one. The photo on the wall was still swaying slightly, as though touched. That night, I dreamed of the cottage again. Burning, silent, the sky above it too bright to look at. A woman stood in the flames, her hands reaching out, not in fear but in welcome. When I woke, the smell of smoke lingered in the room. The key lay on the nightstand beside me. Its number had changed. No longer 17. Now it read 18.
The fire never ended. It just learned to wait. Episode 5, The Room That Remembered, coming soon.